So this might end up being kind of short, I'm not too sure yet. I'm mostly making this because I was, kind of browsing the shiny thread, looking at the older posts, the older images and stuff, and I've started noticing that the older images seem to be disappearing, which is largely what prompted this. I've kind of talked about this particular thing in the first video that I made, but I've decided to go a bit more in depth with it this time, mostly as like a form of archival, I guess. Because, apparently these images aren't going to be here forever, so there has to be some amount of preservation done. Whether I'm up to the task, I don't know yet, we'll see. So I'm going to try to, like, storyline this out, see how well this ends up going over. So the year is 2015, right? 2014, kind of a mid-year, not really a lot happened within PokeMMO to justify talking about it. I think in total there was like 2 updates or something. And then 2015 rolls around. Literally the beginning of the year, Hoenn was implemented. Emerald was implemented into the game. And this is a big deal because it was effectively the first region in the game's history. So, many players had been, I think, waiting for this. I can't remember if they'd ever... I think they hinted toward it beforehand, so a lot of players were waiting for this to happen. And as a result, many players flock to Hoenn when it releases for a number of different reasons. Some people just wanted to, get through the region as normal. They just wanted to experience how Emerald would feel in MMO. Some people did it for money, various things like battling trainers or collecting items, which was kind of a hot thing at the time. Collecting story items and selling them. Or, just filling out their Pokedex because, new region, new Pokemon, tons of new Pokemon actually. And as a result of all these new Pokemon getting introduced, there was a new thing that had been kind of going on with this. There was a bit of I would describe it as like a shiny race, almost. Basically, people racing to get to the first shinies in Hoenn. A lot of this was to fill in, like, the shiny thread slots, because at the time the shiny thread was kind of empty at the time, because Hoenn had just released, they had like a whole section dedicated to Generation 3 Pokemon, and most of it was empty at this point, so people were effectively racing through the region to try to get shinies from Hoenn. And, to sort of like preface some stuff about how shiny hunting worked in 2015, the best way I can explain this is Sweet Scent didn't fully exist yet. So the Sweet Scent out of battle thing that a lot of people use now for like horde hunting, that didn't exist. That didn't get implemented until a year later. So as a result, every shiny before 2016, you either had to fish for it or single encounter hunt for shinies back then. So yeah, because of the method that people had to go through to shiny hunt effectively, certain shinies were a lot more rare than they are now. And one of these shinies that had become particularly rare and sought after was Trapinch. There was like a whole list of like shinies that had effectively mythical status to them, urban legend status, and on that list was Trapinch. Throughout most of 2015, Trapinch basically didn't exist outside of people occasionally going, saying, I have a shiny Trapinch, or I found a shiny Trapinch, and never actually posting proof of it. Normally how in-game chat works. That would change on August 12th of 2015. Within the shiny thread, the first post of a shiny Trapinch being caught goes up on August 12th of 2015, and it comes from a fairly notable and reputable player. About 4 days later, August 16th, the first actual screenshot of this Trapinch goes up on the thread. Now, outside of this screenshot, I've not been able to find any more info out about this Trapinch. I don't know who actually owns it. The guy that posts these screenshots, as far as I'm aware, he was mostly posting screenshots of linked shinies that other people had linked. So, there's a good chance that he didn't own it. But I don't know who actually owned it, and I can't figure that out. It's like the only screenshot of it, as far as I can find on the website, like on the forum. So, no idea what happened to this Trapinch, whether or not it was ever evolved, whether it's staying on a dormant account somewhere. That's most likely where it is, or if it was used for other things like breeding for some reason. No clue. So, you know, after this, the shiny thread pretty much continues as normal. There's just the one image that went up and nothing else. No posts about Vibrava or Flygon had gone up until a month later, September 9th, 2015, another shiny Trapinch is caught. And the difference between this Trapinch and the other Trapinch is that this one was actually evolved fully with screenshots of the evolutions. These entries being added to the database for confirmation status. Now, I don't know if you can see based on the screenshot, but that OT looks really familiar, doesn't it? So that brings me over to here with the Flygon in-game. But before I talk about the Flygon more, I do want to also update a bit on my current shiny stuff, right? So, since the last time I've showed off my shiny collection, I did get 2 more shinies. I got a shiny Swablu. I, did the 5 times Horde route at Route 210 because at this point, I was, like, really in a drought. It was not a good time. So I decided to go after this. This was in January, and I think this might have made an appearance in a video, I'm not sure. But then I also, a couple months later, got this one, a Lotad, something that I had been wanting for a bit, and it paid off. I did not get a Seviper, which is good. It's, it's fine, I guess. I could have went like the 5 times route to get a Lombre or something, but I really wanted a Lotad. I think Lotad has a really nice color scheme compared to the other 2. Which is Lombre and Ludicolo. I don't really like those 2 as much as I do Lotad. And, this also had the inadvertent side effect of making my previous Sweet Center obsolete. I was using, like, a random Gloom that I caught in, like, 2016 or 2017. And now I don't have to use that anymore because I got this. That's kind of cool. I have a shiny Pokemon that can try to get more shiny Pokemon. So next up, I don't know. I kind of want a Growlithe now. I have like a list of shinies that I want, and some of them are harder to get than others, clearly. I think right now the current 3 that I'm looking to get are the Growlithe, a Sableye, and a Bannet. No, not a Bannet. Mawile. And those 2 I can get in a particular, the Sableye and the Mawile I can get in a particular spot, so I can like sweet scent that in a particular spot, theoretically. We'll see how it works out. Anyways, going back to the Flygon, so for all intents and purposes, within the game and the shiny thread, this is the first documented Flygon in the game. As I've said before, there is a Trapinch that was caught a month prior. So this would have made this the second Trapinch, but the first Vibrava and Flygon. And whatever happened to the first Trapinch, I'm not sure. As far as I can remember, I kind of vaguely remember hearing something about that the guy was never going to evolve it. So I don't know if he kept, I don't know who that was, and I don't know if he kept the Trapinch, but I'm like 80 to 90% sure that Trapinch is on a dormant player's account. So there's a good chance that that Trapinch is just lost to time. So anyways, this is the Flygon. And, you know, it's pretty unremarkable for a Flygon. You know, it's got like a neutral nature. I did EV train it, I guess. The stats are like, you know, the IV's kind of not particularly great. Back then, I think like before 2019, I think, shinies weren't always guaranteed to have a 31, so as you can tell, this and this don't have 31s. I don't think this one does either. Yeah. So yeah, these don't have 31s because they are old enough to have not had 31s. So, you know, fairly unremarkable for the most part, outside of like the age, I guess, and also because this one's kind of a meme, but we're not going to talk about that. So yeah, 9/9/2015. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about in this. I just wanted to talk about this particular thing because I think this information is kind of important, but also what ended up prompting this was an experience I was having recently where I was going to the shiny thread to, you know, look at the old shinies because sometimes they're kind of cool to look at. But something that I noticed was the images in the confirmed shiny section, and also a lot of the images in the replies in general, are disappearing. What I'm guessing is happening is the image links are expiring, or these images are getting deleted and they're not being preserved. So I wanted to make this as a way to try to preserve this information somewhat. Yeah, so I'm gonna go now. I'm thinking of playing something new soon. I know I've been like doing the Subnautica thing, like basically uploading edited parts of the stream VODs for Subnautica. And I plan to probably play Far Cry 3 at some point. And I'll probably end up not streaming that because that game doesn't really seem very good for stream content. So I'll end up probably playing it via recordings and uploading those. Other than that, maybe like Hades, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting tired of roguelikes. Alright. Goodbye.